School of Management Studies, IGNOU presents an audiobook on the course Mmpc 006 Marketing Management for MBA program. Block 3 Distribution and Promotion Decisions. Unit 10 Advertising and Sales Promotion. Part 1.
After completing this unit, you will be able to appreciate the role and types of advertising, list different kinds of advertising objectives, learn how an advertising copy is developed, explain how media planning is done, describe the parameters used for measuring advertising effectiveness, explain the nature and role of sales promotion, list different types of sales position and the sales promotion schemes, learn about the growing importance of sales promotion in India, understand the process involved in planning sales promotions, and appreciate the need for integration among the different methods of promotion. Introduction. In modern times, advertising prevails in all walks of human life. It has acquired the distinction of being the most visible and glamorous and impactful method of marketing communication. Advertising is defined as any paid form of non-personal presentation and promotion of ideas, goods or services by an identified sponsor. Some of the major marketing and communication functions performed by advertising today include to inform, entertain, persuade, influence, remind, reassure, and add value to the product or service advertised. While sales promotion, being a key element of promotion mix, makes use of short-term incentives to encourage purchase of product or service. Before going to touch upon the role of advertising and sales promotion and their managerial aspects, let us acquaint ourselves with how advertising and sales promotion works and their dimensions in overall marketing communication. How advertising works. In order to perform the various marketing and communication functions mentioned so far, according to Paul E. J. Gerhardt, advertising moves through different stages before accomplishing its purpose. These stages are: Number 1, it gets planned and brought into existence. Number 2, it is reproduced and delivered and exposed to people. Number 3, it is received and assimilated. Number 4, it affects ideas, intentions, and attitudes. Number 5, it affects buying and buying process. Number 6, it responds to time, that is, situation and repeated exposure. Number 7, it affects trade effort and supply. Number 8, it affects product consumption. Number 9, it changes sales and profits. And number 10, it changes the market, that is, size, quality mix, intensity competition, trade relations, consumerism, etc. Types of advertising. Depending upon the nature of the task involved, type of product represented, or the focus of activity transacted, advertising efforts are grouped into various types. Now let us take a few examples. Number 1. Advertisements for machinery and machine tools form a part of industrial advertising, and the ones for footwear, cornflakes or edible oil, etc. forms the part of consumer advertising. Number 2. the advertisements aimed at improving the corporate image are forms of corporate advertising, and the ones promoting a company's products is the form of product advertising. Number 3. Likewise, advertisements promoting the consumption of tea or carpets are called primary demand creating advertisements, whereas those relating to specific brand such as Brook Bond's Taj Mahal or Nescafe, for them, selective brand advertising is appropriate. Advertisement aimed at effecting immediate sale of the product advertised is called direct advertising, and the ones performing tasks like announcing the launch of the new product, building purchase intentions, creating interest in customers, or changing their attitudes towards a product are termed as the indirect action advertising. Number 5. The advertisements which are sponsored and paid for by the manufacturers are manufacturer advertising, and such advertisements whose costs are shared by the manufacturer and wholesalers or retailers are cooperative advertising. Cooperative advertisements aim at increasing the demand of a specific product of a manufacturer through a particular wholesaler or retailer. On the other hand, when a retailer advertises for his shop entirely on his own to attract traffic to his shop, it is called retail advertising. In short, the major types of advertising are industrial and consumer, product and institutional, primary demand and brand demand, direct sales demand, and indirect, that is, awareness, intentions, and attitudes or action advertising, and manufacturer, cooperative, and retail advertising. Role of advertising. In the pursuit of its purpose, the economic and social effects of advertising have become the subjects of continuing debate. On balance, advertising has carved an indispensable place for itself in the marketing mix of a firm. Philip Kotler very aptly refers to these situations where advertising is likely to make greater contribution. These situations are: Number 1. When buyer awareness is minimal. Number 2. When industry sales are rising rather than remaining stable or declining. Number 3. When the product has features normally not observable to the buyer. Number 4. When the opportunities for product differentiation are strong. And number 5. When primary instead of secondary motives can be tapped. Are there some limitations to the role of advertising? The answer obviously is in the affirmative. Advertising, in the words of Richard H. Stansfield, cannot do certain things. They are: Number 1. Sell a bad product twice. Number 2. Sell an overpriced or otherwise non-competitive product. Number 3. Sell a poorly distributed product. Number 4. Sell a seasonal product during non-season or out of season significantly. Number 5. Sell products to persons having no use for them. Number 6. Work overnight. And number 7. Do the selling job alone. During the late 80s, the usefulness of advertising, which for long been accused as a capitalist tool and a bane of market economy, was realized by planned and communist economies too. While Yugoslavia, USSR, Poland and Hungary shed their hostility to advertising quite a few years ago, China welcomed advertisement-propelled marketing and hosted the Third World Advertising Congress in Beijing during June 1987. The Economic Times, in its marketing and advertising column, reported that China's advertising expenditure in 1985 was around $200 million. Advertising management. Advertising constitutes one of the four components of a firm's promotion mix, which in turn forms an integral element of the firm's marketing mix. In order to implement the marketing concept and to achieve the objective of integration among different elements of marketing mix, it is necessary that the advertising function be systematically planned. In particular, the link of advertising with the promotion and marketing objectives of the firm on the one hand, and with factors like product positioning objective, role of sales force, dealer support plan, and the buying habits of consumers on the other hand, must be clearly established. This link helps a firm to achieve the desired push-pull strategy objectives and enables the product to have a distinct personality. The task involved in advertising is, therefore, complex and its management requires systematic decision-making. Charles Raymond advocates appropriate research to precede each stage of an advertising campaign. In short, the basic decision areas in advertising are: number 1, setting advertising objectives; number 2, determining advertising budget; number 3, developing advertisement copy and message; number 4, selecting and scheduling media; and number 5, measuring advertising effectiveness. The promotion budget, including the advertising budget. The advertising budget influences the level of advertising activity used by the firm. Budgeting for advertising is yet another area where a lot of subjectivity prevails regarding what is the right amount to be spent on the advertising activity. Further discussion from here pertains to promotion budgeting, comprising all the elements of promotion mix, including advertising. Depending on clear-cut relationship between the promotion expenditure and the achievement of promotion objectives, recourse is made to certain rules of the thumb. These are: number 1, incremental promotional expenditure yields incremental sales to a certain extent. Number 2, a minimum level of promotion activity must be exceeded for promotion to have a meaningful effect. Often such a minimum level of promotion is set by the competitor, or more appropriately by an average of the industry. And number 3, promotion activities, when well integrated with other elements of the marketing mix, produce greater than the planned results. This discussion should not, however, lead us to understand that no attempts have been made to shed light on the inherent uncertainty shrouding the cause-effect relationship in this area of promotion budgeting. In fact, quite a few notable attempts by the economist in terms of application of marginal cost and marginal revenue principle, that is, additional promotional expenditure and additional revenue and profits made, and by marketing researchers through experimentation and model building approaches have been made. The substance of their findings is that results of the promotion function should be constantly monitored in order to establish more reliable parameters of cost-benefit relationships. Further, cost-benefit analysis should form the basis of the trade-off before promotion budget is finalized by using some of the methods. These methods include percent of sales method, fixed sum per unit, affordable funds, competitive parity, and objective and task method. Now let's take all these methods one by one. Percent of sales. This method views promotion budget determination by linking the appropriation to a fixed percentage of sales of the company products. Such sales may relate to the previous year, an average of sales of the previous few years, projected sales of the next year or years, or an average of the previous few years' sales, as well as the projected sales of the next few years. This method, though simple to use, fails to account for the changing promotional cost and relating the appropriations made to the product market needs. Particularly difficulties are faced if the sales curve of a company is not smooth, hence resulting in lower outlays for the years that follow the bad sales years. Also, the forecasted sales realizations remain uncertain. The ways out attempted have been the adjustment provision of a fixed percentage to the average expenditure of the past. That is, last year plus 15%, or use of this method in combination with the others that we are going to discuss now. Fixed sum per unit. Very much like the percent of sales, under this method, the promotion budget is determined by allocating a fixed amount of money per physical unit of product for either past or future sales or a combination of the two. The only differentiating point of this method from the percent of sales method is that the base for budgeting, instead of being rupee sales, is the number of product units sold or targeted to be sold. This method, thus, has almost the same strengths and weaknesses as the ones associated with percent of sales method, namely simplicity in the determination but arbitrariness in arriving at the percentage or per unit allocation. Affordable funds. Continuing to think on the plane that promotion expenditure is one of those business costs which are desirable or avoidable as per the convenience of the top management. The funds for promotion are appropriated on discretionary basis under this method. No wonder then that companies adopting this method find their promotion appropriations fluctuating from year to year depending on top management's thinking for the year. Competitive parity. Incorporating a measure of competitiveness in planning, this method guides the budget determination in terms of relativity to what the competitors are likely to allocate, being a slightly more market-oriented method than the ones discussed so far. When based on the representative average of the industry promotion expenditure, it becomes a good norm to moderate the promotion expenditure of a company. Objective and task method. This is one of the most scientific methods of budget determination. It approaches the budget exercise by first setting the specific objectives to be achieved. It then identifies the task involved in achieving the said objectives, followed by ascertaining the cost involved in the performance of each task required. The result of the exercise is an estimation of the amount required for accomplishing the said promotion goals. Typical objectives might be to increase awareness, say by 15%, or increase message or theme recall, say by 25%. Indeed, it is a good method as far as promotion budgeting for new products is concerned, or when a new thrust to the image of a company and its products is to be provided. This method presupposes that objectives set are realistic and promotion results can be measured precisely. These assumptions continue to be the subject of unending debate at the one end and of pursuit of research on the other. It is as a result of the continuing research that some models for promotion budgeting have been developed and are now being refined to be of practical utility to the marketer. The practice. In practice, most companies make use of more than one method for determining the promotion budget. The research into the practices of the companies in India in this regard reveals certain findings. Among the individual methods used, affordable funds method emerged as the most popular. There were, however, quite a few companies which had started using the approach of objective and task in setting their promotion budget either exclusively or in combination with the other methods. Most of such companies were dealing in consumer goods. The practices of the companies using a combination of methods for determining promotion budget pointed to the efforts they were putting in to gather competitive promotion outlays and its apportioning to various promotion components. Setting advertising objectives, the Indian experience. An advertisement is either good or bad in its ability to achieve its objectives. Though advertising is largely informative and persuasive in nature, yet to do a good job, the objectives of each advertising campaign need to be clearly spelled out in measurable terms in order to focus clearly on the target audience and on the time period over which these are to be achieved. Russell H. Colley called for the need to provide explicit link between advertising goals and advertising results in his pioneering approach nicknamed DAGMAR, that is, defining advertising goals for measured advertising results. Colley distinguished 52 advertising goals that might be used in connection with a single advertisement, a year's campaign for a product, or a company's entire advertising philosophy. Some of such goals are: Number 1. Announce a special reason for buying now, that is price, premium, and so on. Number 2. Build familiarity and easy recognition of package or trademark. Number 3. Place advertiser in position to select preferred distributors and dealers. Number 4. Persuade prospect to visit a showroom, ask for a demonstration. Number 5. Build up the morale of the company sales force. Number 6. Correct false impression, misinformation, and other obstacles to sales. And number 7. Implant information or attitude regarding benefits and superior features of brand. According to DAGMAR, the communication task of the brand is to gain: Number 1. Awareness. Number 2. Comprehension. Number 3. Conviction. Number 4. Image. And number 5. Action. Advertising goals should therefore be specific to the communication task to be performed. The process of advertising goal setting thus should begin by understanding the dynamics of the consumer behavior and the market environment in order to carry out the task of marketing communication effectively. Further, let us also understand that improving sales is not the only objective of advertising. Advertising is only one of the factors influencing sales, the others being: Number 1. Different elements of the marketing mix. Number 2. The competitive position of the firm. And number 3. The purchasing power and the need of the buyer. Also, the impact of advertising often occurs over the long run and not necessarily immediately, since consumers may belong to different stages of the product adoption process at a given point of time. The advertising objectives are: Number 1. To inform and build awareness. Number 2. To create brand knowledge. Number 3. To reinforce positive attitudes about the brand. Number 4. To precipitate buying action. Number 5. To increase sales. And number 6. To build up an image. To facilitate the realization of advertising objectives, it is necessary that these are laid down in specific operational terms and are linked to the time span during which these are to be accomplished. Indian experience. The research on the practices of large-sized companies has pointed out that companies in India pursue a wide spectrum of advertising goals at different time periods and in relation to different products. Even similar companies placed in more or less similar market situation may pursue different advertising goals depending upon a host of factors like advertising philosophy, past experience, and the level of expertise existing in the company. An analysis of the advertising goals pursued revealed that these basically focused on moving the customer from one stage of the purchasing process to the other, expansion of the market, and creation of favorable image besides the overall goal of improving sales. The The goals set in general lacked specific mention of the percent of target market to be reached and influenced.
We were listening to the audiobook by the School of Management Studies IGNOU for MBA program, course code Mmpc 006, Marketing Management. Course Coordinator Professor T.B. Vijay Kumar, School of Management Studies IGNOU. Voiceover by Harpreet Kaur. Edited by Savita. Program assisted by Tarannum Jahan and Jagbandhu Jana. Program produced by Dr. Manoj Kumar Singh. This program was brought to you by Electronic Media Production Center of Indira Gandhi National Open University.